Good evening, everybody. My name is Bryan Conley from Louisville, Kentucky, and it is my pleasure and honor to be able to present to you my CodeU capstone project, NexaCast. The reason I decided to enroll in CodeU, I have a background in programming and graphic design, but I wanted to learn a more robust programming language. So there's a software development course with C# paired with a classroom setting where you had instructors who are very knowledgeable on the subject matter and available if you have any questions, concerns, or roadblocks was very appealing to me. So my project is NexaCast. It is an automated YouTube video generator. I chose to do this particular project because I didn't want to do one of the types of projects that you've seen done 100 times on GitHub. I wanted something that was unique and captivating, interesting to me on a personal level. The world of AI and technology is starting to advance rapidly, and I wanted to learn more about how to harness its power in order to create something. So the first step in NexaCast is the user input. It has a prompt asking for a short description of what you want the video to be about. The example, we're doing history of electric guitars. After the input is pressed, then it generates a folder to hold all the content that'll be generated. It also takes the description and holds it as a variable that'll be used later. The next step, I'm using Google Drive's API. I have over 200 songs saved on my Google Drive. It grabs royalty-free music and brings it down locally. I wanted to ensure that I had a plethora of music so that way all the videos would be unique and I didn't have elements that were being repeated from video to video. After that, it generates a script using OpenAI's API. It says, create a quick introduction saying, welcome to NexaCast, quickly discussing the topic. That's where the variable from earlier goes, and quickly mention that it's AI generated. YouTube has a new policy this year stating that any AI generated content will be removed unless there's a disclaimer. So I wanted to ensure that every video has a disclaimer in it. It generates all of the script in paragraphs, which is used programmatically to pull everything together as the process goes on. The next step, again, using OpenAI, it creates images through DALL-E. So each of the paragraphs from the script has its own prompt, which generates its own image. After the images have been completed and successfully downloaded, then I'm using 11 Labs API. This one has the talk-to-speech technology. It sounds more human-like than some of the previous ones we've seen. So after it generates a voiceover for every paragraph, which also has a matching image for every paragraph, it starts the compilation process. So each segment is generated as like its own mini story. Once all the segments have been completed, then it does a full concatenation of the video, taking all of the segments, putting them together into the final video, while also overlaying the royalty-free music at a 10% volume. So that way it doesn't overpower the voiceover, but it still gives it some extra depth to it. I do have just a quick clip showing off the history of electric guitar, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like.
In order to understand the history of electric guitars, we need to go back to the early 20th century. It was a time of innovation and experimentation in the world of music. The concept of amplifying musical instruments was already well established with the invention of the telephone. In order to understand the
So one of the challenges that I ran into while developing NexaCast was in the image fetcher class. It's designed to fetch the image. So it goes to DALL-E, grabs the image, downloads it, brings it locally, so that way we have it for the compilation process. However, it kept failing repeatedly. The first thing I did is I went and read OpenAPI's their documentation, and I tried to duplicate it exactly how it was line by line, but it was done in Python. I tried to convert it over to C#, but I couldn't quite get it to work right. So I did what any programmer would do. I went to Google and searched Reddit, Stack Overflow, GitHub, until I finally learned about base64 encoding. The way base64 encoding works is it takes your file and it converts it into a long string of letters, numbers, and characters. So then I was able to pass that string back down locally, decode it, and then I was able to successfully get my file. Not only did it solve the issue I had in NexaCast, it's been a nice little tool to add to my tool belt, and I'm actually utilizing it in another application I'm currently developing. If you have any questions, thoughts, or you'd like to discuss any aspects of NexaCast, I do have my contact information up on the screen. The bottom link is the YouTube channel where you could go and watch the generated videos in their entirety if you'd like to choose so. I do look forward to any potential collaborations or discussions that might arise from today's session. And I do want to say thank you all for your time and attention today. It's been my privilege to share my journey of NexaCast with you.